Hello, my dear Cancer. This is your love and spirituality reading for the mid-month of September 2018 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. This will be the last mid-month reading I do for now. If you ever have felt like you needed to be in several locations at the same time, you know my problem. Next month I will have to take the mid-month week to catch up with my bookkeeping. That's kind of a 6 month behind. And in November I will have the first vacation week since last year. And I really need it since I've noticed I get the sniffles when I do my readings. That's histamine release and it's a sign of stress. So I'm also booking 2 months ahead for my clients, and that is too long of a wait. So in December I will be able to book 1 more week with client readings. I hope you will understand my situation and be satisfied with the monthly readings, and I might do some other type of shorter reading to replace the mid-months in the future. I'll see what I can come up with. Okay, so I read for the signs in order of most liked videos, so don't forget to hit the thumbs up button for your sign, and you can see the order I read in this time around at the community section of my channel. And thank you so much for liking, watching, commenting and subscribing to my channel. I'm so grateful for all of your appreciation. The reading can go both ways. The message is for the people who watch it. So if you cross-watch for another sign and recognize yourself as the main person in the reading, just trust your own intuition and you will get the message you need. For this reading, I used Osho Zen Tarot by Deva Padma, and I will do a 5-card spread, and we'll start shuffling your cards. So, when I open your deck here, I see 3 guidance and the Fool, so that looks beautiful. It seems like you have found true inner guidance and that you are trusting it and willingly kind of follow your intuition and the divine wherever it takes you. So that's very courageous. It's very trusting. It's also a beautiful example of giving up your will to the divine will. And yeah, it's beautiful. It seems like you have found some sort of inner peace, and in that a beautiful willingness to do what's best, whatever is asked of you. So beautiful. So I call the divine with love and light, and here we are the world together with the Fool card, and here it's in the reverse. So we are the world is a place of value, the things in life that makes life valuable. Friends, family, love. It can also be of course material things. We live in a earth, in a dimension that have like realistic things being manifested, so manifestation. And sometimes we want a lot of these manifested things. We might want to be landlords or own a lot of cars. But mainly the world card here, it's talking about prosperity, but kind of the feeling you get from prosperity, the feeling of being safe, the feeling of being like having long-lasting value. And here we have the Fool in reverse, so it can it can balance up the first thing I said with adding to this and saying that Cancer still wants long-lasting values. You are prepared to give your will up to the divine and be very courageous and, you know, jump whenever the divine says jump. But you are doing so for the hope still of long-lasting value. And I'm thinking this is it's still beautiful because this is a human need. We want to be feeling safe. We want to feel valuable. We want to be surrounded by friends and family. In that aspect, we are not different from the animals. Animals can panic if they don't have this kind of safety. So it doesn't mean that they don't live here and now, and it means that there's a glue between different persons or different animals, different souls. That is very hard when this glue stretches thin, when we are separated from the people that we love the most or from the situation that makes us feel safe. ordinary animals like wildlife, if they get separated, they have panic, and many people live very individualized, they live lives that's very individualized, and therefore they come to have different kind of psychic problems like anxiety and of different form and shape, and this is because we're separated. So I'm thinking you still want this unity, and this is why you're giving up your will, because you want this kind of unity. So you are hoping still that the divine will lead you to this place of unity. So I call the 4 archangels in the 4 corners of the world, and here we have 9 exhaustion together with the Fool card. So 9 of Wands is like you are taking up your resources from deep within to really try to do what's asked of you. So it's very heroic, but in the same time you're risking of exhausting yourself. So you're still trying to be good towards someone else. In this case, it seems to be the divine, but you still want your reward. So you're putting in very much effort into this situation, and it's very courageous. It's almost like when someone is asked to go and fight for their country. Sometimes we can be asked this with very dubious reasons from them who want us to go to war, but sometimes we are doing it for a good cause. I'm thinking about the Civil War in America that ended slavery, for example, or things like this. Sometimes it has been to great beneficial for many people to go to war like this and do it for the greatest cause. But sometimes we can also be very fooled when we're doing this thing. We think we are fighting for a good cause, but actually we are fighting for someone else's agenda. So what I'm seeing here is that you're pushing yourself to the limit because you trust something. You have a deep trust for something that might not be, it's probably not particularly solid. It's like belief or fighting for some kind of value, fighting for the future. So it's a little bit abstract. So I call the 6 elements, earth, wind, fire, water, spirit and ether, to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Cancer viewers. So I want my dear Cancers to have love in their lives. We have a 6 of Swords here, so that's kind of what I'm seeing here in this situation is when we are asked to go and fight in other countries, and we are asked to do this for the benefit of some good cause, but the true agenda is something that's more egocentric, and so we are fighting for one thing which we believe, and people have told us that this is what you go and fight for, but what we're really fighting for is someone's selfish needs. So this can be applied on the world arena, like being called to go and fight for freedom in a different country. That's usually like a big scam, okay? But in your little life, it can still be the same thing. It's like micro and macro cosmos. It's what's within, it's without. So here it can be you doing something that you think are of high value to follow someone else's direction. It's someone that has authority maybe, or you believe them to be right, but there's always a danger here that we are giving up ourselves to something that might potentially be destructive. So, for example, it can be a boss wanting us to do something that we don't feel really comfortable with. It might be a partner pushing us around, and we try to be nice. We want to have this beautiful willingness and trust in love, trust in the other person, that they wouldn't do anything to harm us. So even when we see traces that they might be bullying us a little bit, we still try to, act nice. I'm seeing a little bit of the 9 of Wands in this exhausted character. So with the 6 of Swords, it's probably that you are asked to look once again, to see to that you are not giving up your own beautiful strength for someone else, for someone else's cause that's not really your own. So you're not letting yourself be used and abused in the name of something good. Maybe in the name of love, for example. Well, I can endure because I love her so much. Or I trust my country, so I go and do this. I trust my leaders. And it's a very good quality, but it can also be used and abused, this beautiful quality. This like a little bit, like being a little bit, we're saying blue-eyed, naive, okay, like the fool, easily fooled. Okay, so I'm going to tune into you, Cancer, and your reading for a few seconds here. So, what I felt here was also that it's usually the very beautiful and cool and like extraordinary strong people that has the ability to be this trusting. Usually the more neurotic, egocentric, selfish people aren't able to be this trusting and unselfish. So they have a tendency to maybe use those people that's stronger than them and more trusting. So if that's make someone understand their situation a little bit better by me saying that. So, my dear Cancer, this is your reading here, and in the bottom we have the Hermit card in reversed. So, it's probably a little bit fear of being alone. You want to have harmony, you want to work with consensus and be nice towards people. It's very valuable for you to be surrounded by people. So you can sacrifice a lot because of that and be very strong in situations that you are fighting for something that's a common cause. So it's beautiful, but it's also the threat of being alone that makes you like easily suggested to do something that might not always be the best for you and the best for the world. And here we have 6 compromise. So it's kind of what I'm talking about, like trying to be nice and cooperative, work together with people to create harmony and balance, and thereby sacrificing something, maybe over compromising yourself, and also over functioning. Like if someone isn't really helpful, you are twice as helpful. So can be this as well. Okay, so this is you there, and this is your past, and this is your future. This is the past of the circumstance, person, or your divine mission that you have been in, and this is the future of that same thing. And this is your now. So we have inner voice. The inner voice is the high priestess. She is tied to the water signs and the moon. She is maybe mostly Pisces, Cancer. Scorpio is more the death card. This is about your inner. It's very typical Cancer. Listening to your own intuition, being touchy-feely, and therefore being like a link between the divine and humanity. Sometimes we can feel that this is too wishy-washy and feelings are not tangible. It's something we can't trust, and we think that this sensory perception is like not as good as thoughts, for example, being logic and rational. But the feeling perception comes from your subconscious that have calculated things beyond your normal intelligence. So it's usually very well thought through by the subconscious that is like a big main computer, while your thoughts might be your the memory of your screen. So it's not the same kind of wisdom. And the high priestess is also, she's very dignified. She do trust her instincts and her intuition more than she's trusting anything else. So this character would be very hard to fool. And I'm thinking the divine wants to show you this mirror so that you will understand that if you go more with your wisdom and your intuition and your sensory perceptions and trust them more. This card is connected to judgment card, justice. So it's about looking at the situation from an above and making a judgment call or a choice. So if you could trust yourself more, you would probably be making less naive choices, and choices that would be more aligned with the will of the divine and what's best for all humanity and for both you and other people. Even if you need to be sometimes a little bit harsh, it can be better to put a boundary than to let someone walk all over you and not learning the lesson that they were supposed to learn from being with you. Being this sensitive that you are, you can detect also minor inconsistencies or disharmonies, and that can be very helpful for a person that's a little bit more numb, that hasn't this very fine tools to access. So you are placed here with this wisdom for a reason. So let's use it. Okay. And this is your past, and here we have new vision. It's the Hangman, and it's in the reversed. So it seems like you have left some old, you have shred your skin, like the old skin, and this is what came out. So I think you were more submissive before, and you have stepped into your more authority of the High Priestess now. But there's still, like, the divine seems to still be worried that you will give up your strength just to be nice. So, in other case, I wouldn't have seen this card, which I saw when I shuffled. So this is good news. The Hangman in the reverse. It's like the training wheels are off. Before, maybe the divine held you back because it was something that you need to realize, like you needed to have some aha moment or go through a major transformation. But now the training wheels are off and they push you away with your bicycle, because you're now the High Priestess here. So very much wiser than you were before. Not because you weren't as wise before, you just didn't know it. So it's kind of like that. Trusting yourself more now means the training wheels are off. So this is your future. And we have the dream in the reversed. So this is kind of summarizing up what I have said up till now. You want consensus, you want harmony, you want also reconciliation, maybe with people that haven't been particularly nice towards you before, and you want it no matter what. It's kind of in your blood, or it's a big longing. It's like your heart is longing for this union so much that you're ready to sacrifice your individuality and your wisdom for the sake of this reunion. So that is what the divine is a little bit fearful of at this moment. So they want you to be more, a little bit more. The two is also, two here, High Priestess is also connected to the Two of Wands, Two of Swords, Two of Pentacles, Two of Cups. So Two of Wands, for example, holding your horses, having self-control. Two of Swords, maybe not being, like, sometimes silent treatment, or looking at the situation from a rational point of view instead of rushing with your emotions. Two of Coins, taking things step by step. Two of Cups, seeing to that both parties are equally invested, so not only one is doing all the emotional job in a relationship. Good judgment is what's needed here, so you won't fall back into old patterns, because it's so easy for you to love unconditionally and give a lot. It costs you less to be maybe a little bit submissive and just love, and it doesn't matter so much. I can take it, or it's not a big deal for me if they don't show me that appreciation or that love. I know that they love me. So it's a heroic thing. It's like you have a very strong back, but you don't help others by carrying their burdens. They need to become like you too, like this loving. So no reconciliation. Don't try to fix things. if you know deep down with your wisdom that the other person needs to help fixing this, or the other situation needs to also, like, there needs to be combined forces. It can't only be you fixing everything here. Okay, so this is the past of this circumstance person, or the mission from the divine, and we have a page of swords here in the reversed. I'm thinking Pisces got a page of swords but in the upright position. So page of swords in the reversed. What I'm feeling here is someone that doesn't want to learn. They have learned that by maybe a little bit of temper tantrum, or being a little bit maliciously smart, or seeing your weak spots and, looking them out and using them. They have been able to navigate around getting the same wisdom as do you. Because this is their survival skill, it's easier for them to do it like this, to not do the job, to not apply themselves, to figure out with their rational mind how to get the best outcome, usually for themselves. Page of Swords is usually it's a person that can see everything like very clearly, like a child can see through the grown-ups social convenient in a situation and say, but why is that like that? Couldn't it be more like that? They will see things in a more clear perception, while the grown-ups will have gaping mouths and say, oh no, you can't say that because it's not social convenient. So it's like seeing things crystal clear, and sometimes being a little bit offensive with that. But the Page of Swords in reverse is someone doing the same but using it as a secret to their own favor. So they are not going to tell you what they see. They are not going to tell you how they are going to use your weaknesses against you. And they see your strength, your beautiful strength and love, as a little bit of a weakness, because they can use it. And that's why you are not allowed to give your unconditional love away for free at this time, because this person needs to learn what you already have learned. And you need to learn more of this to be a little bit more like rationally smart about things, to see things like as they are now, even if it's boring. And for example, if you are together with someone that has big problems of showing love, you know that they love you. Deep down you know, and this is what you are living on. But this person needs to evolve past, covering up their love for you. They need to be able to show it, to, show you love and appreciation. Your boss at work needs to be able to tell you good work, instead of, I can take this person's ideas and make them my own. Okay, so you're not allowed to give yourself away for free at this point. Ideally, you wouldn't do that. Okay, you can do it, but it's not ideal. And this is the future. And here we have projections in the reversed. So these people that's a little bit malicious and, so rational and logic and smart and manipulating, they are so because they live in a world of terror, okay? They have been maybe mistreated, abused in different ways that have made them cold and detached. And they are just now trying to survive, and they see enemies everywhere. So your love is taken as a form of manipulation, that you just try to say that you love them, and later on you will leave and they will be the laughing stock. So what they see when they look at you is a picture of something from the old, something that hurt them in the past. And this is something they need to figure out for themselves. You can't be their master in this. You can just show them your coolness and also use your wisdom to point out what it is that you really see, with love, of course. For example, many of these things will be very explosive, so I'm going to try to find something that could be a good example. Yeah, for example, so if a person is very angry with you, and you can say to them, maybe, I don't think that you're angry with me right now. There's something else. Dig deeper. What is it that you're really upset with right now? I can help you. So that's a way to still show love, but not subordinate yourself to being the villain that you aren't. Okay, not taking the martyr role because someone needs to have someone to yell at because they are fearful of something, like someone that was worthy of yelling at probably in the past, but they are not there anymore. So there can be sometimes like this, that you are in a room with a person that's very angry and upset, and they can tell you what you feel and what you say and what you mean, and you don't even have to be there. You can say maybe, and they will say, oh, you are so this and you are so that, and okay. So you don't even have to participate in the argument because they are projecting. But here you see the 7 projections is in the reverse. So my clue to this is that divine wants them to figure this out for themselves, that they have been projecting their inner reality onto you, thinking that you are a very scary person that you can't be trusted, because they are used to people being scary and that they can't be trusted. So this is not going to be easy, but if you can use your wisdom and tell what you see and not, agree with taking the blame for something that's really not your fault, it's easy for you probably to take the blame and say, yes, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. That's what you do with children. For example, if your children is very angry with you and you see that they are so upset, and they are really upset for something that maybe was a little bit their own doing. Maybe they kind of made a mess themselves, but they are blaming you, and you see that they are very upset. So you can say, yes, I'm sorry, mommy shouldn't have done like that. And that will calm that child down, and they will feel comfort, and they will feel like other people are there to lift them up when they are in trouble. And that's maybe what you have done with this person or people in the past, that you have carried them like this, but now they are supposed to figure this out themselves. And you say, well, if they are small children, you still do whatever you did before. But if they are grown up, you say, I'm sorry, I wish I could take the blame for this, but what really happened was this, and what I want you to see is this, if it's possible for you. And hopefully they will figure it out. And that is what the divine is waiting for here, for them to have this eureka moment and see through their glasses that might be shaped with, terrors from the past that they are projecting out on the world on a daily basis. So they are living in hell without having any reasons for it. They're thinking you are going to betray them any day, and their behavior is the thing that might make you not want to continue. Not them or your relationship, but this suspiciousness or this drama or arguments, or it can be judgments or name calling. It can be a person saying, you are like this, I know you did this, and you are like accusing you unfairly. And you are seeing that this person is maybe a little bit unbalanced, so you try to help them as best as you can. But for now, it would be better if you didn't carry them, but actually let them fall a little on their face, so that they would be able to learn this for themselves, that they need to take responsibility, and it isn't that dangerous. It isn't that hard to do that. So I think I will read the projection card here, because we have 6 of Cups, 7 of Cups. And this feels like this is the main issue here, not you being wise. The man and woman in this card are facing each other, yet they are not able to see each other clearly. Each is projecting an image that image they have constructed in their minds, covering the real face of the person they are looking at. All of us can get caught up in projecting movies of our own making onto the situations and people surrounding us. It happens when we are not fully aware of our own expectations, desires, and judgments. Instead of taking responsibility for them and owning them, which you're supposed to let other people do now. See here where we're at. And owning them, we try to attribute them to others. A projection can be devilish or divine, disturbing or comforting, but it is a projection nonetheless. So it's not always that you're projecting onto others that they are so devilish. It can be that you give all your beautiful qualities to another person as well when you're projecting. Oh, they are so wonderful like this and so altruistic. And if you really would look on the situation, that might not be the truth. You're just projecting. A projection is a cloud that prevents us from seeing reality as it is. The only way out is to recognize the game. When you find a judgment arising about another, turn it around. Does what you see in others really belong to you? In your visions, is your vision clear or clouded by what you want to see? So for example, when we are saying that this abusive person, I know deep inside that they love me. It might be your own love that you are seeing, not theirs. In a cinema, you look at the screen. You never look at the back. The projector is at the back. The film is not really there on the screen. It is just a projection of shadow and light. The film exists just at the back, but you never look at that, and the projector is there. Your mind is at the back of the whole thing, and the mind is the projector, but you always look at the other because the other is the screen. When you are in love, the person seems beautiful, no comparison. When you hate, the same person seems the ugliest, and you never become aware of how a person can be the ugliest, and the same person can be the most beautiful. So, the only way to reach truth is to learn how to be immediate in your vision, how to drop the help of the mind. This agency of the mind is the problem because mind can create only dreams. We have mind there. And through your excitement, the dream starts looking like reality. If you are too excited, you are intoxicated. You are not in your senses. Then whatsoever you see is just a projection, and there are as many worlds as there are minds, because every mind lives in his own world or is in his own projection. But since the card comes in reverse, it's about waking up from this projection and starting to see what's really going on. For example, being very angry with someone and then realizing you're really who you're angry at are yourself or something that you need to forgive yourself for. Or that the love that you think that someone has for you might really just be the own beautiful love that you share with the world, but might not be visible, or the other person might not have reached that conscious level so that they can feel that kind of love. Okay, so I will take Sacred Rebel Oracle for you, my dear Cancer, between mid-September to 1st October, what's going on in Cancer's life. And we have this restore and replenish. So it's all about you right now, Cancer. Listening inside to your own intuition and, starting to sort what's true and what's not true. And you can do so when you are inside yourself, when you're resting, or when you're kind of taking yourself out of all routine, and by that freeing yourself a little bit. So you are in need of something so much deeper than rest. You need restoration, replenishment, and revival. This will not necessarily come from lying about somewhere, taking a moment out of the day or evening activities. You are more likely to gain what you need by breaking with your routine completely and doing something different. You need some variety, some spice, some change to bring fresh energy into your body, mind, and heart. You need to restore and revive yourself by changing the usual flow of energy through your being. You could stimulate this process by going to a different place, meeting different people, and taking different action to what you would usually do. You can return to your regular routine in time if it feels good for you. However, it is now time to move without pushing yourself beyond what is known, comfortable, and familiar. This oracle also comes as a message from the great loving guardian, which is life itself. You have been working so hard and have accomplished so much already. However, you often sell your accomplishment short and focus on how much more is yet to be done. Life is telling you that it's time to put down the paintbrush, the pen, the endless list, and the thinking mind and get into your body. Take time to experience yourself in and of nature. Remember how to just be. In doing so, even for a relatively short amount of time, you will feel more yourself and ready for the next phase. You might be surprised what just a day or two of this can do for you. Restoration does not have to be a long and involved process, especially if it's attended to when needed. This oracle is also confirmation that you are in an important transition phase between one level of experience and the next. If you feel as though you are treading water or are in a sort of purgatory, somewhere between your old life and your new life, then this is particularly applies to you. If you can't quite break into the level you are reaching for, have faith. You are just taking a breather between races. Soon you will have the power and energy you need to reach for the next level and succeed. If you have been considering a new endeavor or recently started one, then this oracle brings a message of encouragement. Yes, this is a good step forward for you. You might be worried that you are taking on too much. You are encouraged to take time out to rest and rebalance yourself, but you are supported in your need for new and different experience to refresh your spirit. You may let some of these new endeavors go once you have gained what you need from them. However, they are useful now. You are encouraged to trust yourself and to know that you are working consciously to meet your own needs, and this is healthy and this is good. Yeah, and if you have been under weather, this is a sign that you will soon be good again, that you needed this time to maybe not be fully healthy, so that you would prevent yourself from just going on with like in a certain momentum or routine. Maybe you needed to back down and stay in stillness to find something out that couldn't be heard through a lot of noise or through a lot of activity. Sometimes we need to break a leg to get an epiphany. So this is when we are called into boring times, it's usually that God wants to speak to us. Okay, so my dear Cancer, I hope this helped. I want you to take really good care, and I also want to welcome you back to my monthly October reading that I will perform in the mid-September. Okay, take good care. Bye-bye.